Hey, welcome back to another tutorial. So in the last video we discussed the licensing options for 3ds Max and what it was and where you could get 3ds Max from. In this video we're just going to look essentially at the user interface and sort of introduce you to the layout, the structure, and where you can access things, just so you can familiarize yourself with the layout of the software. Okay, so I've already jumped in. I've opened up 3ds Max. So if you haven't done that, do that now and pause the video. And when it opens up, you should have the sort of welcome panel really. So this will open up for you. You can get a little bit of information from here. You can click through. I mean, this one's pretty good, the welcome to 3ds Max, because it sort of shows you the different sort of setups where your workspace is, sign in. You've got the command panel. Time navigation, and a few other bits and pieces on here as well. Now we can have a look at these in a moment's time, but it's quite good. You can also, if you don't want this opening up, you can just untick this and it won't open up the next time. In addition to that, you've got the control settings here as well. So again, you've got the different controls that you can use, and again, you can just flip through these and it'll sort of show you as well how to sort of navigate. I'm going to close that off, so I'm just going to use the X button to close that off. And yeah, this is 3ds Max. This is the interface you're presented with. Now when you start this or you start modeling, it's important to note that this is actually 4 screens. Okay, so you've got 4 small windows, should I say, not screens, 4 windows. Okay, and each one of them show you a different view. Now the information to what you're looking at is located in the top left hand side of each viewport, as they're called. So again, you can see here. So at the minute I've clicked on the top right window here where my mouse is, and you can see that I'm actually in the front view with a standard graphics view in a wireframe mode. And if I click down here, you can see I'm in a perspective view, which is a standard sort of a shader view or graphics view with default shading applied. So each of these will tell you. In addition to that, there is a view cube as well, which should give you a little bit of information as to what you're actually looking at. So here you can see sort of in this view, I'm looking at the left side of a model or a scene, and again here, not too dissimilar, you can see I'm looking at the top view here. So yeah, there are different viewports. You can change the workspace as well, so you can actually change the layout. So along the top area here, you can actually see you've got different workspaces that you can set. You can also set manual ones as well, and customize these quite a lot, which we'll save for a little bit later on. I'm going to keep it on the default one because this is an introductory course, so we don't need to worry about changing things too much. To the left hand side of that is your login. So here you've got my name, Stephen Cunningham, and again, I've signed in to my account. So again, you can sign in to your Autodesk account when you set up the software and download it. You'll get an Autodesk account. Along the top, so along the very top bar, these things that should be familiar to you. You've got your file save, you've got your backups. There's different options here to sort of import things, export. So not too dissimilar really to many other software packages that perhaps you would have used before. So again, you've got the save as, these different things you can do. So again, you can import objects into here, you can export things out. Bunch of different stuff there. Along there, you've also got the edit as well. So this actual tab relates to sort of the objects in the scene. So again, you can select different tools, and you can see you've got shortcuts here. So if I go into the edit mode, I've just clicked move, which is the hotkey there is W. You'll see that it actually highlights here. I can also do click here, and again, if I click back, so if I just go in here and click rotate, again you can see it flips between these different select tools which we'll get into a little bit more later on. In addition to that, you've also got some handy tools in the tool section here. So one of them that we will be paying attention to in the course is sort of the Scene Explorer and the Layer Explorer as well. So if you go ahead and click one of those, you'll get a little window. I often dock this to the side area. So if you kind of dock it there, it should dock for me. Telling little fibs there, but yeah, it should dock that. There we go. Get that docked. Can possibly just remove that one, the views for now, but you can see there, yeah, you'll get a Scene Explorer, and then the other one would be a Layer Explorer as well, and you should be able to go ahead and dock that as well there, so you've got them both sort of listed. In addition to that, I mean, you should be able to just toggle these as well. So if you do come down here, you can actually toggle between them as well. So just, yeah, different ways of sort of accessing sort of these menus and stuff. You should be able to, if it lets me, grab hold of this here and close them off. So let's just grab the menu. There we go. So just grab the dotted bar and you can close them off at any point that you want. If you get lost in your workspace and you're editing, don't forget you can just come up here, reset to default states, and then that'll reset your workspace back to the default space that it's in. And again, you can toggle between those menus there. In addition to that, there's also different sort of tools that you've got here. So Crease Explorer, these you know, just a bunch of stuff, mirror, array. Yeah, you've got things to do with sort of like your working pivots and grid stuff as well. There's a bunch of options in here. Again, a lot to go through, but yeah, there's quite a lot in here that's quite useful, really. You've also got the group options. So when we're building quite a lot of different objects, you've got sort of like groupings and things like that you can do. So you can select and group objects together, and you can control it via the groups panel. Yeah, you've got the views, which again is not too dissimilar to what we've looked at already. So you've got the active viewport settings, and again, if you click that, it'll bring up the settings for the active viewport. That means the viewport that you've got selected. You know the viewport that you've got selected because you'll have a slight, it's almost like a yellowish tan color around. So if I select this viewport and I just toggle between the two, you should see that little indicator there, which is pretty good. In terms of that as well, there's different things you can do. You can access like background, there's some camera stuff in here. Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff as well to do with the views and stuff. So yeah, we'll come back to this a little bit later on. You've got the create section here as well. So here you've got your standard primitives that you can do, a little teapot there. So why not grab the teapot and let's click and drag, and well done, you would have created your first object. So a lot of stuff you can access there. Now the thing is with 3ds Max, it's highly customable. So you can actually access a lot of things from the create panel, actually in the control panel as well. So there are different places you can access things, and again, it's about having that customization for your workspace and how you work and what you need access to. So a lot of stuff we can do through this panel here, but we'll come to that shortly. You've got modifiers as well. So again, these different modifiers you can select here, and useful ones that it lists with it in here. So mesh edits, and there's a bunch of stuff that it groups together. And again, you can access different modifiers. You can access these from different places as well, which we'll be taking a look at. The parametric deformers, these are quite fun. You got bend and stuff in here, relax, ripple, shells, quite useful as well. Squeeze and stuff like that. So when you're modeling and you're actually creating geometry, a lot of this stuff can be quite useful as well. But yeah, quite a lot of stuff. There's the animation section here as well. So again, everything from IK solvers, constraints, rigging, so your bone tools and stuff like that you can access through here as well. You've got the graph editors, So again, you can you can track things. So these are really good if you're sort of using animations and things. You can come in here with these graphs, smooth things out and stuff. So that's pretty good. Render settings. So 3ds Max is known as it's a rendering application. It's a software you can essentially build sort of videos and footage in. And again, it depends on the industry. It depends on what you're doing. There are some external renderers that you can plug into it as well. So these are different sort of options here. If you click render setup, you'll see you get a bunch of different ones. Perhaps you've got a different one set here. Usually Arnold is the one that the default one that gets shipped with 3ds Max. And yeah, you've got customize, so you could do a lot more with the menu customization from this point. So you've got customizing the interface. You've got the hotkey editor, so again you can set up your own hotkeys, and you can do a bunch of stuff really in here. You can change the unit setup of a scene to get more accurate measurements and stuff. 3ds Max also allows you to create scripts and tools yourself, so it's not too dissimilar again from other software applications of this I suppose ilk. But yeah, I mean, it lets you create scripts, and you can run these scripts to perform different actions and create certain things that you need. So there are often plugins, so you'll often get scripts that people make, and you can bring them in. Perhaps like tileable roofs. It might be stuff like that you can bring in, and you can run the script and generate a bunch of useful stuff. You've got the Arnold view and a few properties here related to the actual Arnold renderer itself, and then of course you've got the help option as well. So again, you've got different things that you can learn about. So these are really good if you're learning about 3ds Max, and there's a lot of content to cover. I can't possibly fit it all in the video. But if you are learning stuff about 3ds Max and you want to expand your knowledge a little bit more, you've got 1 minute essential tutorials. There's a bunch of stuff online here where you can go through. There's documentation. It's been around a very, very long time. So there's a lot of good, useful stuff in here that you'll pick up on. The lower toolbar here, so you've got the second sort of drop down menu toolbar. Okay. So, or the main toolbar, should I say? So you've got the undo, redo. Again, not too dissimilar from other objects, so other programs. So if we click the undo, you can see, it undoes my previous move. If I click redo, it reapplies it. There's stuff where you can link things as well, so you can actually link objects together. And yeah, you've got like different types here, so geometry or what you want to select. So you can do filtered selection. So perhaps if you're working with geometry or particular shapes and stuff, or maybe cameras, that's all you want to select. You can sort of filter them there, which is pretty cool. Just moving along a little bit, the important ones for you are the move, rotate, and scale. These allow you to actually move objects in 3D space, and it's what we're going to be using to sort of like push and pull things about and maybe scale things a little bit later on. You've got the select and place as well, which correlates sort of to the move tool, where you can move objects and sort of snap them to surfaces and things, which is pretty cool. In addition to that, you've got different selection methods here. So again, whether you want the coordinate, it's sort of the coordinate system. And basically you can do it based upon the rotation. So you can move things based upon the local rotation of an object. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. There's some other useful stuff here about setting pivots and center points. And again, along this top, you've got snap settings. So whether you want things to snap to the grid or you want an angle snap, which is really handy when you're trying to be sort of incremental in your movements and you need to get something quite precise. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Just going beyond that, again, you've got some useful stuff here. So you've got the mirror, the align tool as well, which again we'll be looking into a little bit later on. And yeah, you've got the sort of layers and toggle explorer. So again, we've looked at how you can sort of get these on. and you know, you can bring these up. Mine's, for some reason, mine's over here, but you can toggle these off and on. So again, there's just different ways to access things in here. So there's quite a lot, and it's about giving you that customization over the workspace. So just keep that in mind. You've got the where this program is at the minute. So I've obviously not saved this file or anything. So there, and yeah, you've got the set active project. You know, you can create you know, defaults and stuff, and a little bit of folder settings. You've got the auto backs there, which will tell you, and it will tell you the time of the next auto back, or when it's going to do it, and then you've got reset time. Well, now, just moving into the actual workspace itself, we've already sort of gone over the sort of toolbar here. We've already explained, you know, this is the scene hierarchy, and you've got the layers. We've looked at the windows, and on the right hand side, we've got the command panel. So the command panel itself is where a lot of people tend to work in, okay? It's not too dissimilar to what you can do up here with the modifiers and stuff. You know, if you click things, you get drop-down lists. You know, you can change sort of options of what you want to make. You can control certain things. Again, you know, you can sort of control objects and stuff, and how many segments you can see here, where, you know, I'm increasing the resolution on this. Maybe you want a bit of a low poly teapot there. So yeah, there's different things that you can do. And again, we're going to get into this a little bit more, because this is just about the user interface and familiarizing yourself with it. Along the bottom, you've obviously got the timeline for the animation, and there's a few other bits and bobs as well about the coordinate system. So again, if I just grab this, I move it, you can see you get the coordinates for the transform here. So this gizmo represents sort of this coordinate system, and you can use these axes points, so either the X, Y, or Z, to sort of move your model about, and you should know exactly where it is in relation to your 3D space via this here. You can also type in like sort of numerical values as well. So again, you can hit 0 to 0 things back out, which is pretty good. There's some tools here which are handy. Just a quick one: if you ever lock an object and you can't seem to select, it's most likely that you've locked the selection here. It does happen more often than you think. And you've also got the isolate button as well, which is really cool when you're working on a single object in a complex scene. You can sort of isolate it. And then we've got at the bottom just some more animation tools, which perhaps we might take a look at in another video. And that is pretty much the introduction to the 3ds Max's UI. So what we're going to do in the next video is look at some of these tools and sort of like moving objects about, and see what they do and what locations you need to go to access certain things. So I hope you've enjoyed that one, and I'll see you in the next video.